All right, says we're live. So we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Silverback here. And tonight we have Zeke Stout with us. Zeke, you want to give everybody a heads up as to who you are? I'm sure a
I'm
lot of
not
people
even
probably
really
already
sure who
know
I
who you
am
are.
anymore. TV screws with your head a little bit. Like I'm not sure who I am. No, my name's Zeke Stout. I'm the chief marketing officer for Modern Gun School, and I'm also the director of the school. I'm also the chief marketing officer for our sister schools, which are Blackstone Career Institute and 123 CE. And we can talk about it a little bit if you want to, but the gun stuff it's strictly Modern Gun School.
Right on. So, how'd you get into teaching gunsmithing? Or first, let's start off. How'd you get
Yeah.
into guns?
How did I get into guns? So I was born in Texas and I was raised in Tennessee. It's pretty simple.
Really big gun states.
Yeah, it's like you're born in Texas, you're handed a Ruger 1022 as soon as you come out of the womb. So,
Right.
but no, I grew up around guns. I hunted rabbits and stuff in Texas, and then moved to Tennessee, and I was around them. My family, immediate family, mom and dad weren't big gun people, but I hunted with friends all the time, and I was always kind of fascinated about them, but I wasn't really a gun guy until it was probably 2009, 2010, and I bought my first defensive handgun. I've had handguns before. My first handgun I ever owned was a Lorson 380, which everybody listening to this should know why that's funny. But I bought a 357 Taurus revolver. And when I get into something, I dive in head first. I learn everything I possibly can. So I started watching YouTube videos. I started reading. I started listening to podcasts. And one of the things I noticed about the podcast at the time, it's changed a ton since then. But back then, when the podcasts were first starting to hit, there was a lot of, hey, these are the guns we like. Hey, these are who makes them. Hey, these are good people to go to learn. But there was not a whole lot of entertainment. So one of the things I thought of is I really wanted to create a podcast that was entertaining, that both pro-gun people and people maybe that were on the fence about firearms could listen to and laugh at and have fun. So I started talking lead with Marty Holder. People call him Left Hand. We started talking lead within a year. We were one of the biggest gun podcasts around, and that was kind of fun. It was shocker, but it was fun. Started having people like Hickok 45 on the show, different things like that, and 22 Plankster, who come to find out, he and I were high school basketball rivals as we were trying to figure out how we knew each other. And the show took off. Well, at the time, I was a chief administrative officer for a company that had car dealerships, insurance companies, body shop. It was just a big conglomerate in Nashville, but I didn't have a passion for any of it. So I reached out to a few of our sponsors, and one of them was a gunsmithing college. And I went to be their chair. Later got promoted to executive vice president of product and positioning for them. With that, that's kind of where I got more into the gunsmithing side. And it's funny because I will never consider myself a master gunsmith. I can tell you a lot of the stuff up here, but these things can't make it happen out here. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm a giant. I don't know. So that was where I started learning a lot of the gunsmithing stuff, and I really got a passion for a lot of historical weapons, and started getting into some of the old milsurp rifles that you could get inexpensively. Through that role with that school, I parlayed that into getting an opportunity to audition for a TV show on Discovery Channel. And that ended up being Master of Arms, which was a blast. It is the most fun I've ever had working in my life. Now, once it went to air, that's a whole other story. You want to talk about a level of stress that's really, really weird? That's one of them. It's like, hey, we worked our asses off. Can I say asses on your show?
Yeah, you're fine.
We worked our asses off filming it, and we made a great product. Oh my God, our entire livelihood depends on people watching it. So it was like, oh wow, this is a different type of interaction. So oh wow, you got questions that pop up on the screen and everything. My favorite
I make them pop up. Yeah.
and a lot of people are going to laugh at this, but there's a reason. And a lot of people who are into like the gun community and YouTubers and everything else are going to understand why this is my favorite. I have an old Mosin Nagant that the very first shot I ever shot out of that gun was at Hickok 45's 200-yard range, and I hit the gong.
Nice.
And so I'm like, that's my favorite Milsurp rifle. So, yeah.
This is the M1 Garand, of course.
M1 Garand is awesome. I'm just partial because of the story behind my Mosin. So I actually even I had a Great Dane named Mosin for a while. He was nuts though. So, but yeah.
I had a Great Dane growing up as a kid, and he would actually sleep in the bed with me every night. It was funny because he'd lay the long way on the bed right next to me and like wrap his legs around me and stuff. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. The Great Danes are awesome. I actually I have 2 Irish Wolfhounds now, which are basically just hairy Great Danes. So they're fun. But as far as like Master of Arms goes, it was a great show. We had a blast. Pun intended. and then I took about an 8-month hiatus from the firearms industry. After the show didn't get renewed, I went into the motorcycle industry because one of my other passions is motorcycles. So I worked for Law Tigers. I was the marketing director for the entire state of Tennessee, and took that and rolled with it. And then the itch hit. I mean, we're all gun guys. We know once you've worked in this industry and you've seen the passion that people have and you see the camaraderie that everybody has in this industry, it's hard to leave it. And 8 months was enough. So that itch kind of bit back in, and I reached out to Modern Gun School where I'm at now. And I said, hey, look, I'd really love to help you guys build your program, grow it, really take off with it and do something special for the industry with it. And we talked for a couple of months, and next thing you know, January, I started, went out to SHOT Show, got a lot of stuff going, and it was a blast. It's good stuff.
Right on. So, yeah, I was actually watching a few of the episodes of Masters of Arms before I came down here and set up. Definitely some very unique things you guys did on the show. One thing I seen about that was kind of familiar about it is it reminded me a lot of like Forged in Fire. So
it does.
Same kind of basic concept, except for you guys were actually, I think, doing something much cooler because you had the firearms aspect into it,
When people ask, oh, is that like Forged? That's what I always said. I was like, it's like Forged in Fire, but we added firearms and archery. So, and I think there was some, I mean, at this point, when we went to air, Forged in Fire had been 6 seasons in. So there was a big following that they had. And a lot of those people are rabid fans. And so a lot of the negativity we saw online was from Forged in Fire fans. But yeah, I mean, I would do it over again if I had the opportunity every single time. It was a blast. It was a good opportunity. It was a good experience. Got to meet a lot of amazing people, work with some amazing people. I still stay in touch with Nick and Ashley, and it's just really, really good. It was fun. It was a blast.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun just from the few episodes I watched. I would love to be doing something like that. I'll tell you that right now, man. I was watching and I'm like, man, look at that. That's amazing. Especially that the axe gun. That was cool. Cool as hell. Cool.
I think my favorite episode was when I got to break like a foot thick piece of block ice with a Bowie knife. Because I'm originally from Texas, so the Bowie knife is important for the Texas people. So when I hit it the first time, I saw a little crack, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll get a nice big chunk of ice out of that." And I hit it the second time, and that thing just split in half and slid down. I was just like, the one part of me wanted to turn to the camera and just go, "Yeah!" But then the only thing that showed up on camera was me going, "Did I just do that?"
That's a meme-worthy face right there.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. So, what's it like working on a TV set? I mean, did you guys record straight through, uncut, or was there stopping and editing? And
so, because do you remember the show Quiz Show, or the movie Quiz Show, years and years back? So apparently in the 40s, 50s, whenever this happened, I don't remember. It was during the black and white TV days, whatever that was. There was an issue with people rigging game shows. So people would come on and they'd rig it so certain people would win the money. Well, because of that, there was a lot of laws that were put in place that we had to deal with. So if you see me walk out there and say, you have 6 hours to complete this task, they had 6 hours. And we had to watch them the entire 6 hours. Did we get breaks? Yeah. But if we came down from the catwalk we were watching on, we had to go and take our break in the control room, so we were actually seeing what was going down.
Right, still watching it.
Right, so we were still having to watch. And then, so the first task, the first round where we eliminated the first person, whatever time limit we gave them is exactly what they had. Hickok grew up in the same area I did. I met him once at my local gun shop. Well, then you live in the same area I did, because I'm in the middle of Tennessee area too. Sweet. But yeah, so whatever time we said we gave them, we actually had to do that filming time. Then the 40 hours they had for the final round was 20 hours each day. Or was it 20 hours? I can't remember what it was. 10 hours.
It looked like it was like 3 days or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 10 hours for 4 days is what it was. But they had that amount of time, and we had to film the entire time. So every 43-minute episode that you watched on that show was probably, 60 plus hours, maybe 80 hours of footage that they whittled down to 43 minutes. So that's one thing that I learned about TV is like, you're not really seeing everything that is really going on. There's a lot that they cut out. There was a whole segment that we did where when they were over in the other workshop, I would go in and I'd crack jokes with them. We'd have fun. It was kind of like a funny little segment I did every time. None of that made it to air. It was funny, but they wanted it more serious. So that's kind of where
kind of a shame. I mean, I like to see some of that funny stuff mixed in.
It was tough for me because anybody that knows me from Talking Lead, anybody that knows me from going on Plinkster's channel or Hickok or anything I've ever done on other people's channels, they know I'm a big goofball. They know I'm a nut. I just get on there and I'm goofy as hell. But then I get on the show that I'm hosting and it's like, you now have 6 hours to complete this task. If you do not prove, and it's like, that's not me. That's not who I am. And the stuff that was me, we had one episode where we had three contestants that were all named Mike.
Yes,
and
I just watched that one. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I had the cameramen buckled over laughing. I'd walk out and I'd be like, all right, Mike, let's test your knife. And I didn't care whichever one came out. I was like, no, other Mike. And then whoever came out, I was like, no, Mike. And then the third guy would finally get. It was fun stuff like that. And they cut it all out because they're like, you're a big guy. We want you to be more serious. We want you to be more, And I'm like, no, I have fun too.
It seemed like every time they were showing the three of you standing together, they always put Ashley up on something so she would look a little bit taller next to you. Yeah.
She was. What was funny is when you do YouTube stuff for as long as we did with Talking Lead, you don't grasp how much goes into a TV show. Like one thing I did take away from this is I used to always say, oh, social media, YouTube, it's going to take over TV. We're going to eventually destroy it. When I saw how much production and stuff goes into our actual TV show, I realized that unless somebody is independently wealthy, YouTube's not going to take over TV. People still are going to want those produced things, those produced shows. But when we first walk on the set and Ashley and I are walking around and meeting the cameramen and everybody else, we meet the camera guys and they looked up at me and they looked up at her, looked down at her and they're like, shit. Because all they're thinking about is this. I mean, they're constantly walking around. They want the framing. They want everything done right to where it looks good on TV. So basically they built like a little platform for her. out of some pallets and stuff that she had to stand on when we were next to each other. Because Ashley's 5 foot even, and I'm 6'7", so it was a big difference.
Really big difference.
Yeah.
So that the other guy, what was his name? Ty.
Trent and Ty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he like that in real life with the outfits and everything, or is that just something they made him do for the show?
Yes and no. His personality is very much like he was on the show. He doesn't dress like that all the time. So it's funny with Trent, we actually had, I'm trying to think. Well, I'm not going to say who we had. We had some other people that were going to be judges in that third position before Trent became the judge. They had to back out for understandable reasons. And then we were scrambling because the last one backed out like a couple days before production. So what we did was we started looking at contestants. And Trenton was going to be originally a contestant for the show. So we all looked at his film. He had great personality. He was kind of goofball too. So we're like, all right, this guy's the guy. They reached out to him, negotiated the contract. Next thing you know, he's the judge. So it worked out good. You know, it was fun. Wish we could have got a second season, but
yeah,
it is,
awesome. That would have been awesome. Because
it would have been awesome. Yeah.
What I watched so far of it, I've been enjoying every second of it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Show, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got another question out there for you. What's your EDC?
Ooh, right now, mostly because it's summer and they're smaller, I carry a Glock 19. My go-to usually is a HK VP9. I love the VP9. From the moment they came out, when I was with Talking Lead, they sent us a T&E model of the VP9 full size. I pulled that thing out of the box, put a magazine through it, and I was pissed. Because at first I was like, I'm not hitting the freaking target. Because we were shooting little 6-inch targets, paper targets. And I was like, I'm not hitting the target. This thing's a piece of crap. And then as I walked up to the target at 10 yards, I realized, oh my God, every round was going through the same hole.
Nice.
So I became a big fan of the VP9. Tim, my buddy at Military Arms Channel, we go head to head on that a lot of times because he had a little expose video. Find him. Be that way. I still love you. All that stuff.
Yeah. I know Kevin Dixie would be giving you a high five for the VP9.
I love the VP. Oh, dude, Kevin, I love that guy, dude. He's awesome.
He was on last week. Kevin, he's a great guy. I love speaking with him every time we speak.
He's one of those guys that you meet. The first time I met him, dude, I thought he wanted to whip my ass. He's like, hey, nice to meet you. Zeke Stout. I was like, shit, what did I do? And the more we got to know each other, the more I was like, dude, I really like this guy. And we've become really close friends. I was actually supposed to go do his event in May, but of course, COVID kind of screwed that up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, it's he's a good dude. I love doing stuff with him. I love getting involved with him as much as I can. LOL, yeah, Tim ripped the VP9 with his gauntlet test. Yeah. He dumped it in a bucket of water and it didn't work that well afterwards. So, yeah. But, hey, I've done it too, and it worked.
I mean, not every gun you're going to buy is going to work perfect in every scenario, even if it is from the same line. I mean, you know, it's hard to say why that is, but I mean, everyone could have just a little flaw. Say, you know, that was the last run of the night in production, and the guy was a little tired when he was making a certain piece of the gun. And, you know, same thing goes with cars. I mean, I've been in the auto body industry for 30 years, and I see it all the time. I mean, you see different cars, and not every single one of them is exactly the same, even if it's the same model. You'll always find some little flaw or difference here and there. Same thing goes with the parts that you buy for them, you know?
Anytime you get any kind of manufacturing, whether it's firearms, like you said, cars, motorcycles, there's going to be those issues that come across. So, yeah, that kind of stuff is there. Tim is a gun malfunction magnet. He is. I told him the same thing when he came out with the VP9 video. I was like, dude, you just find malfunctions. They send you the ones that are. But I will say this about Tim. Tim he's a very honest guy. He's a very honest reviewer. I consider him one of my closest friends in the industry. He will always give somebody a shot. If he has something go wrong and he says, hey, look, this went wrong, and they give him a chance, or they're like, hey, we'll come and we'll try to fix whatever you found. I mean, in all reality, I'm not going to name names of manufacturers, and I'm not relating this to Tim at all, but there's a lot of firearms manufacturers that send out T&E guns because, hey, if I get these guns to these influencers, media guys, then we'll get a lot of free exposure.
Right.
If they use it properly and they use the word T&E, which is testing and evaluation, if they use that properly, they could create a killer manufacturer putting out amazing products because, hey, I'm going to send this to this YouTuber. I'm going to send this to this podcaster. Put it through a torture test. Put it through what you would in normal life. A lot of these guys nowadays have a lot of real life experience, whether it's spec op guys or whatever. Put it through a torture test that you would have seen overseas. And let us know if you have any problems. A lot of companies don't realize that's what T&E is for. Right. It's for people to test and evaluate in their living situations, whether it's carrying every day in Middle Tennessee or whether it's going over to Afghanistan where you got dust and heat and everything else. That's what T&E is for. And if more companies would do that, there'd be a lot better products in the market. But so many people are worried about exposure first, then product second, when the rule of thumb is people, process, and product.
Right.
Exposure is not in there. Exposure will come if you have those three things right. So.
Right. Yeah. They want the exposure so that way they can gain sales.
Right.
Really is what that's
exactly.
About. It's just more commercial, basically, for them as far as that goes. So, how's life and COVID been treating you?
COVID life. I'm just making a weird face because COVID's been weird.
It sure has.
COVID has been weird, but I've had a lot of bad things happen, a lot of weird situations, but I've had a lot of amazing situations happen too. I've met some really, really amazing people. A lot of the stuff with work-wise, with Modern Gun School, we had planned on a big launch at the NRA convention here in Nashville. We were going to do a celebrity basketball game, had a lot of big name celebrities, not just from this 2A community, but from, sports, from all kinds of stuff that were going to come and play in this game. COVID happens, freaking everything gets canceled. So we had to take a step back, process, move forward with a new plan. Just personally, there's been a lot of weird stuff that have happened, but then there's been a lot of good that has come from the weird stuff. So it's been a roller coaster, but I'm kind of happy for 2020 at the point where I'm at now. I think the biggest thing that bothers me out of everything is I've had to get away. People who follow me on social media, they're probably like, where the hell did Zeke go? I got the hell off of it because everybody hates everybody now.
Yeah,
and we've got to step away from that. Nothing is going to get accomplished where we're bashing each other because you don't agree with what I think, so you're wrong. I hate you. I had to step away from that. I had to back away. I'll get back into it with work and everything else because that's part of my job in marketing. Social media is part of that beast. But we all need to stop and go, hey, look, this guy might not agree with me, but if I can sit down and talk with him and say, hey, here's my point of view, and what's your point of view? And if you can't come to a place of agree to disagree or agree, hey, this is right, or agree this is right, walk away. It's not freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in this place in our society where everybody is seeing a post on social media and it polarizes everybody to hate.
Right.
Humanity, in my opinion, a lot of people disagree with me, but in my opinion, humanity is a good, we're good people at heart. We're good people at our core. We just have to stop, quit yelling at each other and go, okay, let me put myself where you're coming from. Let me show you my point of view. And if you can't come to the same point of view, then we just agree to disagree. We walk away, shake hands, bye. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we'd go to family reunions and everything. And my dad's side of the family was Northern Alabama. My mom's side of the family was all Texas. If people were Democrat, Republican, whatever, they just debated. It was a friendly debate. Maybe it got a little heated, but nobody wanted to kill each other. So I had to step away from the social media stuff in the 2020 world. But yeah. So that's probably a little too much sharing, wasn't it?
No, you're good, man. I think you're exactly right. You know, it's hard for people nowadays to have a civil discussion and disagree and agree, or agree to disagree. You know, because things have become so, I guess you could say, political in a sense, and that everybody chooses a side and they dig in so deep and they basically go full retard with it. And
exactly.
if you don't see like this, then that's it for you. You're all wrong. You know, everybody could have a different opinion. Everybody has the right to have an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Yes, they do stink, but it's your right to have one. You know,
mine doesn't stink. I keep it clean.
Good man.
I'm kidding.
You Charmin clean, you know?
No, Cottonelle. I'm strictly Cottonelle. Yeah.
I use Scott.
Yeah. Single ply?
No, we get to 2-ply.
Okay. All right, cool.
It's just not ruffled.
You got to splurge sometimes, man. Yeah. Hey.
I mean, the single ply, then it's like, you know, back in the 20s where your finger just goes right through it. And you don't want that.
And we're back to discussions about the Middle East. So
yep, that's right. So how about all this? And that kind of leads us to, like what you were saying. How about all this stuff with all these riots and this whole race debate thing that's happening now? I mean, it's way worse now, I think, than it's ever been in the entirety of my lifetime. And I've been alive 45 years. So
I'm going to go back to something I said a minute ago with the COVID stuff and people disagreeing. People are inherently good.
Right.
I watched a video today from the standpoint of some of the protesters. And it was a guy walking through a park that was occupied by Antifa with an American flag. And somebody ripped the flag off. And there was a couple of people that jumped in the picture and they were like, look, we want to let you know this was not us that did this. Some white guy in a mask came running up, and you could see it was obvious a white guy that came up and ripped the flag off. And they're like, they're going to try to make it out like black people did this. It wasn't us. He has a right to be here marching with his flag just like anybody else. Right. And then the most moving thing happened, and you know, I'm a big tough guy, so I don't cry at all. But I was almost moved to tears. This black guy had gone and chased down the Antifa guy, took the American flag back, and he came back to the guy that was marching with the pole, and he was trying to help him put him on. They couldn't put it on. The guy was like, no, thank you, appreciate it, whatever. And they moved on. Whenever you're trying to fight the mob mentality, you're never going to win.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to deal with all these riots, with all the BLM stuff. I'm not going to make a political stance on a podcast. You know, just not going to do it. People that know me know what my stances are on a lot of stuff. But I will say this. If you take a step back and you open your eyes and you look at things with compassion, if you look at things with kindness, you'll find what's going on for real. And the majority of people that are probably your fans of your podcast get it, and they see it, and they know what's going on. But that's the biggest thing is if you get into those arguments, if it's you against five, if it's you against 2 or 3 or more people, just stop, walk away. You're not going to win. But if you can get one-on-one with one person and you can see where they're coming from, if you can see what their stance on something is, if you can see what motivates them, why are they doing what they're doing? And you're one-on-one, change can start to happen. Whether it's you seeing their viewpoint, whether it's them seeing your viewpoint, whatever happens. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp on your podcast.
No, you're all right.
But we've already said shit and talked about toilet paper, so that's okay.
Right, and fingers going places they shouldn't go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not part of this negotiating with the mob mentality. Don't put your fingers where they're not supposed to go. But if you can approach things with compassion, if you can approach things with a big heart and understand that we're all humans, yeah, there's gonna be people that are blatantly crazy. They don't get what you say and they're gonna treat you like shit when you talk about it. But that's okay. It's okay. You just walk away and move on to the next one.
That's right.
If you're in the business of changing hearts and minds, you're not going to change them all. It's kind of simple. But if you take a freaking step back and quit posting how much you hate this and how much you hate that group, and they quit posting how much they hate us and how much they hate this and hate. It's just this giant freaking vortex. And anybody on either side of this whole debate, if you're posting that shit where you're hating everybody, you're in the vortex. You got sucked in. You're just as bad as everybody else. So let's try to fix stuff. Majority of us feel the same way. My worst fear is that there is a serious conflict in the world and we are eaten away from the inside rather than coming together as a nation. Thank you. Yep. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. I wish you could just take that and make that a theme of this whole podcast.
I mean, that's what these podcasts are all about, is just, getting people to meet other people and unite, and just get together. And, it's all about, I have this saying every time I end one of my videos, I always say, have fun, because I believe in having fun. And if you have fun and you keep yourself light, then things just don't get to you the way they do to somebody who's all uptight all the time, So
hang up.
Yep.
I have a pet peeve, and it's people with a lot of hang-ups.
Yep.
It's like, just enjoy your freaking life. I mean, love people, enjoy your life. And I sound like a hippie, but I'm a gun-toting hippie. I hate. Yeah, you're damn right. I hate too. But we have this, we're in this weird precipice, right? We're all on this little ledge. If we lean a little bit one way, we're going to have utter complete chaos. If we lean a little bit the other way, we might have some stuff that starts to happen that's really cool for our country. But here's the key. If you're posting hate, whether you're from Second Amendment organizations, whether you're from Black Lives Matter, whether you're from Antifa, whether you're from National Rifle Association, if you're posting hate, we're not getting anywhere. Right. Look at our forefathers. And I'm pretty sure it was Lincoln. If I'm wrong, tell me. United we stand, divided we fall. We are the United States of America. What, am I right? Was it Lincoln?
Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody out in the audience know?
Yeah, I think it was Lincoln that first coined that. But there is nobody in this world. I'm looking right at the camera on my little computer. There is nobody in this world that you were going to 100% agree with. I've found a couple people that I've agreed a lot with. And that's kind of cool to have that. But there's nobody in this world you're going to agree with 100%. But if you want to get shit done, you have to unite. All of our leaders right now, God, I'm getting political as hell, and I usually don't get political. What's wrong with me? Nobody is standing in the middle and going to the right and grabbing a hand and going to the left and grabbing a hand and saying, hey, let's discuss this shit and let's figure out how to fix it. No, it's I'm right, you're wrong.
Yep.
That's it. Nobody's sitting back and going, all right, there's a lot of stuff I believe in that you don't believe in. There's a lot of stuff you believe in that I don't believe in. But let's find a middle ground to make things work. That's how our country has always worked.
Yeah. And right now, everybody in the country is seeing that, and they're reflecting on that. And these are supposed to be our leaders, so to speak. Yep. Even though I don't consider them leaders, because they're supposed to be the ones working for us. We're supposed to be the leaders, but they're up there doing their thing, yakking back and forth at each other, I'm this, you're that, and it's spreading everywhere, and it's reflecting out across the country, and I think that's really what's partially to blame for everything that's going on right now as well.
Yeah. A lot of it feels orchestrated, and it's very easy to go down a lot of conspiracy rabbit holes too.
Yes,
I've done it. I've watched some of this stuff. There's one thing, I don't remember who told me this, but anything that's weird that happens, just follow the money. Follow the money. You'll figure it out. Follow the money trail. Yep. And I'm not even going to go where I think that took us. But I don't think it's this weird, crazy stuff that a lot of people are spewing. It's really pretty simple. I don't want to get your podcast shut down, though. So,
yeah, I've made a few videos talking about stuff like that, but I do it in a certain way to beat the algorithms. So I had one guy on one of the videos comment to me, he goes, "How is this video still up?" And I said, "Well, just think about it and watch the video and you'll understand."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So what do you think about this? BLM is a Marxist organization. Marxism is severe hatred towards God. Antifa is in there with them too.
I think any of these organizations that are out there, once again, let's follow the money. Follow the money. You'll figure it all out. I mean, especially these ones that are 501c3s, that's public information. You can go find it yourself. Just follow the damn money and quit. I'm gonna point to my conspiracy theory without saying it.
Okay.
If you're a Fox News fan or if you're a CNN fan, quit listening to all of them and do your own research.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like I noticed a lot of times because I'm on Facebook a little bit because I got my Facebook group up there, and I'm in a few other like-minded community groups. And most people, when they make a comment based off the title of the article. They don't actually go in and read the article or anything else like that. Yep. They make a comment based off the title. Well, why are you going to comment on the title? Because I've seen a lot of times where a title is really kind of a trap, because you can go and you look at the title, but you go in and read the article and it has nothing to do with the title. You know, it's just they get people rolling on that and they're just like, oh, wow.
Yeah. And to the guy that said that about BLM, I've had a lot of friends that what did it say? Gorillas and Guns. This is probably the best video related to these issues that I've seen. Thanks to Zeke Stout. Thank you. I don't think I've ever had anybody say that this is the best video related to anything that I've ever done. Except for tripping and falling and hurting myself. Those are usually really, it's like clickbait. Yeah. That's everything in media nowadays is clickbait. Mm-hmm. Everything. What? Screw it. What industry was hemorrhaging money before COVID?
What industry was hemorrhaging money before COVID?
Because people like us.
I don't know if it's my connection or yours, but you're breaking up a little bit on me.
Oh, do you have me now? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Go. Yep.
All right.
Yes.
So before COVID, media was not doing that great. Traditional media, YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, all this stuff. They were hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
And I'm including Fox News in that too. I'm including all of them. All of a sudden, you have an issue that arises in the entire world where people have to stay at home. If you stay at home, you watch more news. If you're left wing, you watch CNN. If you're right wing, you watch Fox News. You're watching more news. If you watch more news, you see more commercials. You see more commercials, you buy more shit. You buy more shit, they get more money in revenue because people start spending more ad revenue with them.
Right.
All of a sudden, COVID starts not. Who knows? I don't know. I have a degree in biology, but I'm not a epidemiologist, so I'm not going to go there. but it's weird. So things started sounding weird.
Right.
Race war. Now everybody's back in their house watching TV, watching news.
Right.
Both sides. Left wing, right wing, middle of the road, everything. We just need to quit being afraid and quit and start being a united front, a united country.
Right.
If you disagree with somebody on stuff, I used to say this when we were going through the battle with, yes, Keith Gregley, I love revolvers. Wow, really sounds like I'm ADD, which I am. But yes, I love revolvers. I saw his question pop up. I'm a big wheel gun guy. I don't carry them, but I love them. Well, actually, I take them back. Backup guns, I do. Where was I at?
Sorry. You were talking about everybody being stuck inside, left, right, down the center.
Left, right, down the center. But we have to be united front. I used to say this all the time when we were going through the whole Newtown assault weapons ban. People were just freaking hating on people. I mean, hating. Quit doing them on gun rights. Educate them one-on-one about how the science of firearms works, how the defensive firearms world is, how we carry a gun. Because really, a lot of people don't say this. Carrying a gun is an act of love. I carry a gun because I want to protect my family. I want to protect my friends. I want to protect anybody around me. I don't care if you and I have complete opposite religious, political, whatever values. I'm carrying a gun because if some dumbass comes in there and wants to kill a bunch of people, I want to be able to protect everybody in my vicinity, right? It's an act of love. But instead, everybody wanted to say, well, your other political values aren't like mine, so screw you. So I'm not going to quit doing that. Argue the rest of your political stuff after our Second Amendment is solidified, right? It's the same thing with anything we do. You know, right now, all of our Bill of Rights are fair game. It just seems like. So let's all unite, talk to people from different walks of life, talk to people from different values, talk to people from different religions, sexuality, races, everything, and say, how do we do this together to solidify our Bill of Rights? We'll argue that shit later. Let's do that later. You know, we'll figure out the politics of it later. And a lot of people don't realize politics is the way to divvy up resources and to come to agreements with people with different value systems. That's all politics is.
Right.
Politics, if you're, I don't know what you are. Let's say you're a Republican and I'm Democrat. People out there, we're not saying that's what we are. I'm just using this as a hypothetical. Don't start bashing me. Don't start bashing him. If you're what I'm not, why would I hate you for that?
Right.
Because you were brought up a different way, because you live in a different part of the country, but of course you have a different socioeconomic background. Why should I hate you for that? Why not? Hey, let's find this middle ground where we can get along and have a great time. You know, yeah. Or unite against people that are trying to take away the Bill of Rights. So, anyways, I'm ranting enough.
Yeah, you got to find a common ground.
Dr. Pepper, damn it.
Yeah, it'll get you every time, man. I'll tell you what. It's that commonality we got to find between people, you know. And there's always some kind of commonality, because not everybody can say, even though you can't say you agree 100% with somebody, but you're also not going to disagree 100% with somebody also.
Right.
So there's got to be some kind of commonality. And if you can find that commonality and then build from there, that's where you need to start. You know, it's like that movie, What About Bob? Baby Steps.
Yes.
Baby Steps.
Yes.
Baby stepping.
For people that are many religions, I'm not going to just stick with Christianity because that's one of them, but there's lots of religions that teach love and acceptance and patience and kindness. A lot of y'all out there are not doing it.
No.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to call a spade a spade. A lot of y'all aren't doing it. And if y'all keep doing that and you keep going, well, you know, damn it, this is my ego. I'm going to take over and I'm going to still be right and screw you guys because I'm right. We are no longer united. That's what you call divided. And what he said was, united we stand, divided we fall. So fuck it. Give it all away. Sorry. Did I go over? All right. So at that point, if you really are so ego driven that you want to just hate everybody that's not like you, fuck it. Just give our Bill of Rights away. Give our whole Constitution away. I keep a Constitution on me everywhere.
Right.
But we can't keep it. We can't keep our country what it is if we continue to freaking just, you disagree with me, so screw you.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just the chief marketing officer at Modern Gun School.
You seem like a really intelligent guy. I mean, it's a good conversation. I mean, you're making a lot of sense to me. You might not be making sense to somebody else because, like you were saying, people pick their sides and they just kind of get stuck there, I think, sometimes.
It goes back to psychology. Anybody that's studied psychology at any point in time, you learn about the id, the ego, the superego. Mm-hmm. Our ego is something that it's just hardwired up here. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just something that's there. And it always will try to make you feel superior to someone else. That's what the ego's job is. Christians, let's say there's another hypothetical. So if anybody's not what we are or whatever, I walk up to you.
Just in the least. So
okay. So I'm not either, but I'm going to use this as a hypothetical example. Let's say we're both Christian and we walk up to each other and I'm like, hey, I'm a Christian. You're like, hey, I'm a Christian. And I go, I'm Baptist. And you go, I'm Church of Christ. All of a sudden your ego inside went, I'm superior to him because he's not Church of Christ.
Right.
It's not that you consciously thought I am superior to someone who's not Church of Christ. It's just what our ego is wired to do to make us feel higher than. It's a survival instinct. It's trying to create that hierarchy in society kind of thing. And right now we are swimming in fucking egos in this country.
Yes,
and people cannot just stop and go, oh God, just let's find the common ground. Let's fight what we've got to fight. Let's figure out what all the bullshit is. Let's figure out what all the real side is. Together, we'll argue the shit later.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying before, because we see our leaders and obviously the media doing that, where they're not trying to find the common ground, where they're just out there fighting against each other constantly. So that then is spilling out into the rest of the country. We the people, like, the Constitution says, our Bill of Rights, we the people are the ones that are supposed to be guiding them and leading them, not the other way around.
Exactly.
The government has gotten too large and too far out of control. If you ask me, they've grown from this little baby into a teenager, into a rotten, dirty old man, basically.
Yeah.
So
I'm reading Target One TV's comment. I finally figured out how to get the comments on here. Okay. Oh wait, now you're pulling it up. Sweet. All right, sweet. Now I get to read.
Since you mentioned it, I pulled it up. Yeah.
Ooh, since my eyes are getting old. I agree. We should all be united, but it's very difficult with the other side when there's logic is so far out and they believe it. True. We see the fake news and understand, but they believe it. They all believe it's true. This is the perfect example. If you've done your studies, if you've done your research on whatever situation it is, and you see somebody that's dead wrong about it, this is going back to the mob mentality. If you can get one-on-one with one person, one-on-one, and lay it out in a calm manner, you can't say that your logic is so far out. You may be right. You may be 100% right. But the moment somebody tells you your logic is far out, this is what happens. Mentally.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not going to break through this. It's not going to happen. But if you're like, hey, look, this is my thoughts. This is my viewpoints. I respect your right to think of that because we all have these rights, right? It's one of those things where when we categorize them in the other side, our ego takes over, even if we're right. I mean, even if we're dead on right. If I say the sky's blue and you're telling me the sky's green, I'm like, dude, that's the color blue. My ego is still taking over. So the moment you go, it's green, it's like, oh, your logic sucks. Well, the moment I go, your logic sucks, you go,
Yep.
Nothing gets done.
Right.
So I'm not telling you, Target One TV, how you break through that when their logic is flawed, but you can't just flat out go, your logic is flawed, because the moment you do that, defenses go up and you're never going to get anywhere. I'm going to go back to gun rights, because this is the one where I've always been able to convert people. The one of the things I've done in the past, and I actually got this from, I can't remember where I got this from. It was another podcaster. Shoot. And maybe somebody will remember it and get it. But there was a lady that I was working with. She was extremely anti-gun. Guns kill people. Guns kill people. Guns. I pulled my Glock out. I set it on the table, fully loaded. It was in a Kydex holster, so none of the safety Nazis yell at me. And I hit it. And I said, "You're a stupid Glock. You suck." And I hit it again. I was like, "You're the worst gun I've ever seen. You can't hit the broadside of the barn." And I hit it again. And I said, "Wow, I just insulted it. I physically assaulted it, and nothing happened. It didn't jump off this table and kill anybody. I was mean to that gun." And you saw the light bulb go off. So you've got to find ways, whether it's talking about masks with COVID, whether it's talking about Black Lives Matter, whether it's talking about, police brutality or police, defending the police, whatever it is. You've got to find a way to be able to get through to them in a way that's not insulting them.
Right.
Because the moment the insults start, God, like I said, if all of us in the world know the freaking sky is blue, but Silverback here is saying it's green, and I tell him his logic's flawed, he can look at it and see it's blue, but because I said your logic's flawed, he's going to do this. So it's hard to get through that. So that's where we have to figure out as individuals, as we're interacting with these people, how do we deal with that? How do we get things done? But here's the problem. When we have leadership on both sides that aren't doing that,
right?
How do we expect society to do that?
Exactly. They're not gonna.
No.
Yeah. And to your point, what you were saying before leads me back to this phrase of gun violence. Okay, so they accentuate gun violence, but if somebody gets stabbed to death or bludgeoned to death, they don't say knife violence or blunt force trauma violence or anything like that. They accentuate the gun violence because they want to get rid of the guns. Obviously, yep. Well, and again, that's more political because they want to control. I think they want to control people more so they can benefit for themselves, because I know that really they can't have full control of this country unless the citizenry has no means of self-defense or protection whatsoever. Yeah. So they highlight that term gun violence because guns are, like you said, guns aren't violent. They are inanimate objects. They're just a tool. People are the violent ones. Exactly. So why not say people violence, or just, because guns don't kill people, people kill people. Sure, they might have used a gun to do it, but the gun didn't make them do it. It didn't start brainwashing them and telling them, "Oh, you're going to go out and kill this person," or whatever. They already had that going on in their own head. They just found a vehicle to do it, and that's it.
But that's another good example of people following what the media says. Yep. From our perspective, that's the anti-gun people following what CNN, MSNBC, all the alphabet channels are telling them about guns, right? We have issues where we do it too on our side. But when you say that, let's take England, for example. Yeah, gun crime bottomed the freak out. There was hardly any gun violence once they banned every damn thing. But guess what? Violent crime skyrocketed.
Yep,
it was
other ways to do it.
Sticks and baseball bats and knives and everything else. But they don't talk about that. Well, instead of going, "You're wrong," from the very first thing you say, where all of a sudden we're back to this, you say, "Okay, wow, that's cool. Gun violence did go down a lot." Mm-hmm. What did their violent crime rate do? Ask them, make them give you the answer, because then they're going to have to do the research, and then they're going to see, wow, violent crime rate went up by Anybody watching this, I don't know the exact percentage, but umpteenth thousandth percentile, whatever. And then it gives them that light bulb moment. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. It's just like lots of people that were extremely anti-gun before COVID and before the riots, all of a sudden they're buying guns. Mm-hmm. So people are not hopeless when it comes to gun rights.
Nope.
People are realizing, oh, crap, wait, you defund police. I didn't go get a gun.
Yeah. They're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is what our founding fathers meant by the Second Amendment.
Right. Oh, gosh. Here's one. I'm going to throw this out for everybody. Anytime somebody comes at you with the Second Amendment was made for muzzle loaders and flintlocks and blah, 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 yeah. Say, once again, do not make these come up. You make these come up, you're done. So instead go, you're right. Our founding fathers did mean it for old, antiquated things. So please quit saying whatever the fuck you want on social media because you didn't have computers back in those days. So right. First Amendment rights do not apply to today's because the founding fathers meant it for parchment and handwriting notes. So
public speaking.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So you're correct. Second Amendment does only apply to flintlocks, but First Amendment also applies to only public speaking and writing on parchment. So use that. Make them think they're right all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, you're boosting their own ego, and then you drop a little bit of knowledge, and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't think about it like that. You know, it was all about, it was the evolution of how things did, technologically, everything, you know? Right. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm getting fired up on this podcast.
It's hard to point out the evolution to people. You know, things have evolved. Society is way different nowadays. Of course, we're not back in the old days. Yeah. But yes, they didn't mean it just for that. Because they didn't specifically say flintlocks and muzzle loaders in the Second Amendment. They just said the right to bear arms. Yep. That's opens up a whole broad spectrum of it. You know, so. There was a comment out here I think is pretty interesting. He says, I literally saw a CNN report about how destructive AR-15 is in a live video where they were shooting pumpkins with a shotgun. Talking about putting out some misinformation.
we're back to media control over stuff. You've got to realize that when you're talking to somebody that's anti-gun, that's talking about the assault weapons and the shoulder thingies that go up, and everybody that knows that video clip knows what I'm talking about is probably laughing right now. You've got to realize that the people who are watching this, they believe it. People think both sides, every side, whatever your news organization is, quit thinking that the news is an altruistic organization that provides good information. Bullshit. It's a fucking business. Yep. And the way the media makes money is by ratings. And the way you get ratings is to make people afraid. If you're on the right, let's use the gun rights, for example. If you're pro-gun, Fox News is going to talk about everybody that's coming to get your guns. If you're anti-gun, CNN is going to talk about everybody that's killing everybody. Yeah, I got a little Memphis, Tennessee out of me with the body. The Memphis thing.
That's all right. They do it around here in Virginia too. So you're
exactly.
All right.
So that's how you get ratings. If you get more ratings, the commercial buyers pay more money. It is a business. It is not an altruistic organization. It is not this special thing that gets a pass because they're the news. They're providing information. Bullshit. They want to get as many ratings as they can, and they figured out a long time ago that if they get us doing this, everybody go research and find out if Ted Turner, owner of CNN, and Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox News, were at one time buddies.
Oh, they probably were.
Because I guarantee you, if you and me were buddies, which we are, and we both owned a news channel, right? I'm going to go to you because they figured this out way back in the Roman days, right? When they started doing the gladiators, they realized, wow, look, if society picks sides and they do this, we can go back in closed rooms and get away with whatever the hell we want. Huh. Well, then all of a sudden the United States comes along. We have the Major League Baseball and NFL and NBA, and it's the same thing. Everybody picks a team. And while people are in the stadiums doing this, the people at the top are getting richer and figuring everything out and getting away with murder and whatever the hell else. Huh. Politics.
Let's keep them distracted.
I tell you what, you be the conservative news network. I'll be the liberal news network. We'll get everybody doing this. We'll get filthy rich and we'll get away with whatever the hell we want. But nobody's looking at that because human beings, we want to feel a part of something. We want to feel like we're a part of a denomination and religion. We want to feel like we're a part of a political affiliation. We want to feel a part of something. And once we get that, we're willing to fight for it.
Right.
Because we got to, it's just like, I don't know if you went to college. It's just like when you're in college and the freaking rugby team walks in and they start a fight. One guy starts a fight because he knows the whole rugby team's got his back.
Yep.
It's the same damn thing. I'm going to go in as a right wing, left wing, take your pick guy, and I'm going to start arguing with the opposite because I know all these guys got my back. But if you're one-on-one as human beings and you find a common ground first, find that common ground first.
Right.
Then you can make good shit happen. You may not agree on everything, but argue that shit later. Figure out what we need to fix now. Anyways, sorry.
One of the best phrases I've ever heard. One of the best phrases I ever heard actually came from the movie Men in Black.
Yeah.
When Tommy Lee Jones is sitting down on the bench with Will Smith and he says, people are intelligent, or a person is smart and intelligent, but people, when they get together in a group, is one dumb animal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but yeah, that's basically sums it up. So, yeah, it's very true. So there was a comment out there, and I wanted to ask you about this. You being a weapons guy, a weapons expert, so to speak, and a gunsmith and all that. What do you think about that video and this also goes back to the whole hate thing too, that video that Grandmaster Jay put out about the shooting incident, the accidental shooting? You didn't see that?
Is that the guy that was in the car and he was like showing people how to unload the Glock and then shot himself in the leg?
No, this one, he had an AR-15. So the NFAC is a black militia, they're calling themselves.
Oh, yes. So that's about the time I said screw social media and I got off.
Okay. So he put out this video because they were at a rally and apparently somebody there had a pretty old shotgun that was loaded and it fell and hit the ground. Blew up a piece of sidewalk and injured a few people. And, so he goes on to make a video trying to explain the whole situation. But yeah, he uses AR-15 and he pulls the bolt open and he hits the table with it and the bolt closes. And he says, see, now the bolt is closed and the weapon has fired. He's like, and this happens all the time in basic training every day. A soldier says he gets tired. He's got his rifle. He sits down and the buttstock hits the ground and boom, he blows his head off. Everybody is in an uproar on social media about that.
Here's let's go back to the media and let's go back to preaching at people. Mm. Quit listening to every damn thing you see on social media. If I've got a following, right, and my following got shadow banned because I'm gun related, so I don't have that big of one,
right?
But if you want to follow it, it's Zeke_Stout on all of them. No, but it's one of those things where, let's say you get 10, 15, 20,000 followers. People will start. I've only got 3,000 followers on Instagram, and I've had people come out of the woodwork offering me to show their swimwear. Yeah, it's stupid.
Put on a Speedo and model it for it.
You start. Yeah, well, that's my private account. But people will start getting offers for money to do stupid shit. What's the Bloomberg organization? cities safe, whatever. I don't know.
Every town for gun control.
Every town. Yeah, that was close. City safe, whatever. Yeah, I'll just go with that.
Yeah, you were on the right path.
Yeah, every city, towns, close. There's a lot of money on there. So if all of a sudden somebody can find a guy that's ahead of this new organization that's popped up and get him to say something stupid about guns,
right?
We're back to follow the money trail. I guarantee you that guy could care less whether he was right or wrong about the AR-15. It's just somebody said, hey, say this about it.
Yeah, because apparently he admitted that they were paid, or he was paid for something. It's not come out that he was paid, but then again, that could be a rumor too. So, I really don't know, because there's so much shit that gets slung around on social media. It's hard to believe any of it.
It is, and that's what it was. It was kind of twofold for me. It was one, all the hate. I got sick of the damn hate. The other thing was that there was a lot of things that I got sucked into, and I went down that spiral. And the more I investigated and the more I did my own research, I realized it was bullshit. And then I'm like, I just spent 2 hours of my day, and time is money, looking at something that was bullshit because somebody had a good enough camera and a good enough editing software to make me believe this was true. Right. So that's another thing. I mean, don't believe every damn thing. Steve D asked, where do I work now and what do they sell? So I am the chief marketing officer and director for Modern Gun School. We are an online gunsmithing college. Yes, you heard that correctly. But we do have lots of hands-on projects that we send out, and it's just mgs.edu. But he also said something earlier that I loved. He was talking about high points.
Oh,
and
a few of those out there.
I'm just going to say it right now. People can bitch about high points all day long. Would I ever tell you to carry one? If you're a world strongman competitor, sure, because they're like cinder blocks. But I'll tell you what, for what he said, put it under your coffee table and your bedside table. Those MFers will run. Mm-hmm. Google my buddy Eric's torture test of a freaking high point. Iraq veteran 88. They did a torture test on a high point. They took a bolt, a steel bolt the size of the freaking barrel. They hammered it into the barrel. They shot the freaking gun. The freaking bolt came out. They cleared it. They cleaned it up, and it still ran a whole magazine after that. It's a tank.
Yeah.
The problem is it weighs a tank. So
it's a very crude design, and the machining is rough. I mean, but they're selling them cheap. So I mean, you get what you pay for.
Well, it's I tell people all the time who all of a sudden you like work in the firearms industry and everybody calls you for gun advice. And people will call me, hey man, I don't have a whole lot of money, but I want to get a high point. I'm like, what do you want it for? I just want to, defend my house. Great, freaking get a high point, because that thing's gonna run. Throw it in your bedside table, it's gonna run. Let me take that back. Don't throw it in your bedside table, because my bedside table's got all kinds of shit in there. You end up something with the trigger guard, boom. Yeah, not a good thing. Find a way to safely store it near your bed, and that thing will help you defend your family. If that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford, and it runs. I would rather you go get a high point than a Lorson 380 like the first handgun that I ever bought, because every third round that thing stovepiped and it sucked. But high points run, man. They're tanks. Now, if you tell me I want to get a handgun to carry on my person, I will say stay the hell away from a high point, because those things are heavy. Let's see. We had to watch Fox News come to the farm, and they brought actors to get videos of them interacting with the animals. Even small stuff like that is fake. Yeah. There's so much B-roll. What that's called, when people, you see Fox News, any local news, they're filming random shit all the time. It's called B-roll. And they just wait for a story that fits all that footage that they've already got stored up. They use as their B-roll footage. Hey, there was a wreck on I-24 and blah, 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 blah. And they're showing, traffic going down I-24. That's probably from like a year or two ago. It may not even be from that day. Could be from that day, but probably not. So it's all Do they still provide information? On the local level, yes. On the national level, somewhat. But if you watch, take your time, everybody on here that's watching this, take your time tonight and go watch Fox News as the news is being reported, and watch CNN and keep flipping back and forth. And the more you do it, it's like it becomes less. This is news. This is news. This is the news from our perspective. This is the news from our perspective. We hate them. We hate them. They suck. They should die. They suck. They should die. And the more you flip back and forth, you're like, oh my God, it's just a ping pong match between the two of them. And you start to kind of feel like, wow, I'm being sucked into this and part of the problem with it all. So, anyway.
Let's talk a little bit about Modern Gun School, because I've actually been looking into Modern Gun School. Yep. You and I, we had a conversation before when you were with your predecessor, and I haven't had a chance to actually enroll into it or anything yet. But looking at the Modern Gun School, that seems like a better opportunity for someone like me or anybody out there who wants to get into gunsmithing, because your rates are definitely a lot more reasonable. And it seems like your I guess your schedule is a lot more reasonable for somebody, especially like me, because I work a regular, what you would call 9-to-5 job, and I don't always have time every day to make sure I'm at the computer at a specific time for a certain amount of time. So I think that was a really good feature of what you guys are putting out there.
Yeah, what we're going to do, and there's going to be more there's going to be more programs that we're adding to our courses that will ratchet it up a little bit. What we want to try to keep everything under that $5,000 range. Of course, if we end up having an associate's degree or anything like that, it's going to be a little bit higher. Just because all that goes into that. With an associate's degree, you have to have instructors, you have to pay them, there's so much that goes into it. But with our certificate program, which is what we have, you get all the knowledge. You get a lot of that stuff. We're going to start announcing some field study programs in the next couple coming weeks where it's optional to you. You go through our program. We have, I can't say the names until we actually have it announced, but ABC Gunworks. I apologize if there's actually an ABC Gunworks out there that we don't have an agreement with. But hypothetically, an ABC Gunworks wants to do a field study with us. You will have the opportunity to go for a couple weeks, whatever we work out with them, and do that. It's an optional thing. You don't have to do it. But if you just want to get the knowledge base to learn all the different gunsmithing techniques, we send out hands-on projects. You'll work on refinishing a barrel, deburring, measuring metal, different techniques of finishes, woodworking, making your own hand tools. A lot of people don't realize in the gunsmithing world, a lot of the tools you get are tools that you're going to make yourself, because this would work better if I had a screwdriver that did this. So, making your own hand tools, that's one of the projects we have. Our advanced gunsmithing course, if you pay in full, is $19.99. Yes, I'm looking over at my other computer as I say this because I don't want to say the wrong numbers. If you pay, we also have payment plans. So if you pay $99 down and 22 monthly payments of $89, it ends up being $20.99. And then if you want to do 99 down and lower payments of $69, then it's $21.99. So that's the advanced gunsmithing tuition. That's with all the hands-on projects. We send you out all the kits, all the different things you need. Then our basic gun repair is the $16.99 or $16.90 if you pay in full, $17.90 with 99 down, and $89 a month, and then $18.90 of 99 down and $69 a month. So it's really affordable. You're gonna get the knowledge base you need. It is, like you said, it's not technically do it when you feel like it. You still have a set amount of time. You have to have it done within this, but it's not like every week you got to have this part done. You got to have this part done. If you got work or whatever, you need to push off. You talk to us. You let us know. We'll work it out, make things work. But it's a really good program. I looked at a few different ones because I'm actually a part owner in this one. So if I was going to go that deep into this, I wanted to make sure that I had somebody that I was a good partner with that, coming from the gun perspective. I'm not an education person. I have no, outside of working for my previous employer, I have no background in education. I got a degree in biology. I've worked in the gun industry for 8 years. I've been a marketing guy for 15 some odd years, and I'm good at that part. But I wanted to make sure when it came to the business aspect of this, that they would listen to the gun people and what we needed. A lot of people were like, well, how can you become a gunsmith online? Even if you go to school, you're gonna have lots and lots of years of gunsmithing and working under apprentices and having different guns in before you can really say I'm a master gunsmith. But you can get the concepts. Harvard is teaching brain surgery concepts online right now. So why can't we teach gunsmithing concepts online too? We're very student first. Students always first with us. So if anybody enrolls and they have issues, you contact us. We're there for you. We're right there. We're like, all right, let's look into this. Let's figure this out. Somebody said slight form error on the website, but I figured it out. Workaround. Okay, all right, cool. Let me know if y'all see anything like that. Feel free to reach out to me. It's just ZSTOUT at blackstone.edu. Blackstone is our sister school. I'm the chief marketing officer for them. It's also a program that if you want, let's say you don't want to become a gunsmith, you want to become a paralegal. You want to be a veterinarian assistant, the typical online school type stuff. We have really good programs for that too with our sister school. But yeah, if you have any questions, you see anything weird, it's just Zeke or ZSTOUT at blackstone.edu. If y'all see anything like that, Steve D, appreciate you throwing that out there.
Let's see if I can post it up.
I just hope the world doesn't end due to a dyslexic Mayan. Nice.
There you go. So for everybody who wants to write that down.
Yep.
There you go.
If y'all see anything like like Steve just said, he found an error with the website, please let me know. I don't want this to be anything that goes, like I said, I'm a partner in the school. So this is my baby too. And I want to take care of my partners, investment in the whole thing. And I think we can really create something special for the industry as we go along. Right now we're polishing up our curriculum. We're making things better based from the gun guy's perspective. As we go on, I want to have more industry related things, whether it's a job board that we're posting for the industry, because the firearms industry doesn't have a whole lot of good job boards. A lot of the ones that are out there, once you go to apply, jobs already filled. Different things with our field study programs. Like once we start announcing those and pushing them out there, different programs that, one thing being an accredited college, which we are, we can't talk about programs we're working on when it comes to curriculum. So there's a lot of things we're working on that are going to be really, really cool. We're not allowed to talk about them yet. So there's a lot of new things that are coming down the pipeline that are going to be really fun too. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of been tinkering with some firearms here and there. I watch it. If I have something I'm taking apart and trying to figure out how to fix or whatever, I watch a lot of videos online and I learn how to do it. And I guess online learning would be kind of like the same concept.
Sure.
I guess I could say I'm kind of mechanically inclined anyway, because I've been doing body work and painting cars and stuff for the last 30 years. So, fixing stuff, taking stuff apart is not really a problem for me. I take stuff apart and put it back together all the time. I'm getting a little older, so my hands and fingers don't work as they used to. So, like when I was building my AR, all those little detent pins and springs and stuff were a little tricky for me. But, people have told me little tips and tricks, and, you got to pick up certain things that work for you. So,
sure.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I've found a passion for the firearms industry. See, now I haven't always been in firearms. I'd say I've probably been in firearms now about 6 years. I started liking firearms, obviously, when I was a little kid. I grew up in Massachusetts, so, that it's a little tough up there, and the world I lived in, they always made us believe like firearms weren't for the everyday person. But now come to find out. Yeah. Now to come to find out years later, there is a whole like firearms world going on up there in Massachusetts. It's really regulated or whatever,
Oh
but
yeah.
I never got to see any of that until I actually dove into the firearms world. But yeah, I mean, little kid playing cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians, and I know that's not politically correct, but
Right. So
that's
I
really what got me into it. So
I'm all proud because it's very rare. So when I strayed away, I didn't stray away from the firearms industry. What I'm saying, but somebody knows about my YouTube channel, Pipe Squatch. It's actually just Zeke Stout now, but I did some like pipe tobacco stuff because I'm all into like tobacco pipes, stuff like that for my piercing. But I'm really on like the plum pudding thing. It's a really good one. If you really want a good one, of course, Esoterica Penzance is my go-to. It's my favorite, but you can't find it anywhere. It's hard to get. So if you're a pipe guy, it's a good one. But yeah, plum pudding is a good one. They're out of Seattle. Mississippi Mud's another good one. I like the English tobaccos. There were some other questions on there. Honestly, I've learned so much from YouTube about restoring my CNR firearms, but I have a certificate would be awesome. Yeah, a lot of people who are. Here's the thing. Let me rewind a little bit. And this is going to answer this question too. Question: is gunsmithing technically a trade? Yes, it is a trade. There is a problem right now in the firearms community. I built an AR-15. My buddy likes it. And all of a sudden he tells his buddy, so I built him an AR-15 and he likes it. I'm a gunsmith. No. Show me how you checker stocks. Show me how you blew a barrel. Show me a lot of other things besides putting a Lego kit for adults together. Because really, anybody that's built an AR knows it's kind of just a Lego kit for adults. Yeah, it's not hard to build an AR.
No.
So there are a lot of people that are going around saying I'm a gunsmith because I built some ARs for buddies, and it's not the case. It is a trade. There are a lot of things, a lot of ways you can make money as a gunsmith that a lot of people don't realize. They think, I'm just building guns for people. No, you can re-blue grandpa's gun. You can do woodwork. You can do finishing. People, if you have an artistic hand, you can learn to do engraving and stuff. I didn't see that last one that you popped up. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Considering all the new gun buyers the last 5 months, we might be on the crest of a huge... Yes! And that's a big thing right now. Right now, I can tell you on one hand, I live in the greater Nashville area. Nashville's got a big population. I can tell you on one hand, good gunsmiths in my area within a 35, 45-minute drive. That's not good. And with all the guns that are being sold, there are going to be a lot of people doing it. Are you going to get rich gunsmithing? Not unless you design your own firearm, patent it, and sell it as a manufacturer. No, you're not going to get rich. But you're going to see a lot of really cool historic things come through. You're going to help a lot of people restore family heirlooms. You're going to be able to do, if you're an artistic person, you're going to be able to get some of your artistic, free expression out there with engraving and woodwork and checkering and stuff like that. There's a lot of really cool things that you can get done and make happen. It's just, getting the right thing. And the one person, Steve D, who said he's learned a lot about it, we have a ton of people that come to our school to get our certificate that already know it all. I mean, they're acing their courses like this, but it does help to have this certificate saying, I went to this school, I learned their knowledge base, I learned their program. And because of that, anybody that goes to hire you at a shop, or even if you just want to start your own business, because we have a deal with FFL 123 that teaches you how to get your own FFL.
Nice.
You can start your own business based off the knowledge base that we give you. And you have that certificate from an accredited college that says, I went to this school, I learned this information. Now, am I going to say you're an amazing gunsmith afterwards? That's up to you. Because any school that says, we're going to make you the best at X, whatever that program is, run away fast and far. Because it's up to the person. It's up to the individual. It's what you take with the knowledge that you learn and you absorb and what you put out as your product. That's what makes you good or not. So I'm not going to tell you if you come to our college, you're going to be the best gunsmith in the world. Nope. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you we're going to give you all the knowledge you need to succeed. Sure.
Right.
It's up to you.
You can make a good living as a gunsmith.
Yeah, absolutely. You can provide for your family, everything.
Yeah, I've been looking at statistics and everything. Gunsmiths in my area here says average about 50 to 70,000 a year.
Yep.
So, and that's a good living right there.
It is. And a lot of people that I talk to when they first, I'm not a guidance counselor or anything at the school, but I do talk to some people who are talking about going to talk to you about it just, through Facebook and stuff. A lot of people are like, how will I make my money in it? And first thing I tell them, I was like, once hunting season comes, once the summer comes and everybody's shooting on the range, put out there that you'll clean every gun they have for $45 a pop. And you can make some good money just cleaning a gun. And all of us on here that are gun people knows that we all know it doesn't take that long. But there are a lot of people that don't want to do it themselves. And they're willing to come drop $45, $50 for you to clean their gun top to bottom, get all the filings, make the barrel pristine. They're willing to do it. But back to the ego. Drop your ego. Clean some guns. You make some money. Any need for welders helping out gunsmiths? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes. There is a big aspect in gunsmithing, especially with some of the older stuff where you're going to need to know some welding, especially like TIG welding, stuff like that. Yes, if you are a welder, Warsaw Patriot, go reach out to some of your gunsmiths locally, see if because a lot of them, they didn't take that aspect when they went to some of their schools. So you might be able to help them. I'm trying to figure out a way online, and there's a lot of things that you will do as a smith, whether it's a gunsmith or any other kind of trade, that's tough to learn online because you need to get that hands-on. You need to get an apprenticeship. I'm trying to figure out a way to get some of that knowledge base into some curriculum. We in no way will say you're a good welder because you learned this. We're going to say, here's some places you can go learn from. Yes, exactly. The set me G3 builds. Hell yes. AK receiver work. Oh yes, absolutely. Steve D, $45 to clean, $350 to replace parts. Happens all the time. There's a lot of ways to make money as a smith. Biggest thing is connect with your demographic in your area. Right. Don't just be like, I'm the only guy around. You got to come to me. Right. Connect with them, build relationship. Business. If none of you people are businessmen, business is one thing. It's relationships. Build relationships with people, because I guarantee you clean that gun for that $45 for this one kid, and then he's got an uncle that's got a $3,000 restoration job from some antique Browning that his grandfather had. That kid's can tell him, oh, you need to go talk to Zeke. He's an amazing gunsmith. I'm not, but he's an amazing gunsmith. Go take it to him. And all of a sudden you make a big nut on that one. So, but the welding thing. Yeah. I want to try to figure out just basic stuff. TIG welding, you could probably get into online curriculum. You're still going to need to find a way to be able to say, okay, here's what I did. Let me take some pictures, send it in. We'd have to have instructors that are well-versed in that. We're not at that point yet. That's something I would love to do down the road, but it's just a matter of figuring out how that looks online, because I'm not just going to throw stuff out there that's knowledge if you're not going to be able to learn it by doing a hands-on by yourself. So
yeah, I mean, I got a MIG welder out in my garage. I do some side work. I don't actually work on cars at the shop anymore. Now I work in the office because my old man body just can't take that too much. So I do a little bit here and there for some extra cash when I need it. But I'm pretty familiar with a lot of aspects of some of the welding and things. Like I said, I got a MIG welder out in the garage. I got a nice garage set up, man. I got my own little shooting range in my backyard. So I figure, hey, it's a perfect opportunity for me to get into gunsmithing, because not only can I fix them and build them, but I can test them too, So
yeah, absolutely. Man.
I also have a place where I can go, long distance shooting if I need to, go that far into it or whatever.
And the deeper you get into it, if you've got a creative mind, you'll be repairing stuff, you'll be cleaning stuff, and you'll say, I could probably make this better by doing X. Well, if you get your FFL, if you get your class 3, if you become a manufacturer, you can test X. You can say, hey, I'm going to get somebody to 3D print this little piece that I thought would help with this trigger group or whatever you come up with. That's where our industry is lacking right now. We have a very, very big hole when it comes to innovation in the firearms world right now. If you would have told me 8 years ago when I started working in the firearms industry that I would have gone to SHOT Show and wanted to vomit when I turned the corner and saw the new AR, I would have been like, whatever, dude, I love ARs. But now I do. I turn the corner and it's like, oh, next best thing, here it comes. We're going to announce it. It's the AR. What? We have some of the best engineering minds in the world in our industry, and we're just not doing anything. So that's another thing that I want to do with MGS, with Modern Gun School, is I want to come up with some kind of program that helps spark that creative side, that design side, to where we can start having some innovation come out of our industry. I mean, damn, I thought for sure we'd have our laser guns by now, but apparently we don't.
Well, Brandon Herrera kind of did a thing like that where he put together that, what he called the Brass Valley thing, where he got a bunch of applications from people, and I think he took 10 guys all together, and they went and did this big thing, and because he's working on that AK-50. So he's building an AK that the world has never seen before. So he wanted to get some input from some of these young kids, and I guess he offered 2 or 3 of them a job by the time it was all done. But for them to help in designing specific features of the AK build to help make that AK work, So So I mean, we do need more things like that, because there's a lot of people out there who otherwise wants to do that sort of thing, but just can't find an opportunity to do it or know how to get into it.
It's really odd, because there's like probably less than 5 manufacturers, and one of them, I'm good friends with Chris Barrett. They're innovative. They're constantly trying to innovate things. Keltec, a lot of people bash Keltec for some of their products, but damn it, they're innovating. They're trying new shit. Nobody else is. Everybody else pussyfooting around stuff. But it's cool. What I've seen is, because you see a lot of guys that were in the military, or they go overseas, different countries, and they're doing different things around firearms. Then they retire from whatever their jobs are, and they become gunsmiths on the side because they've been around it. They work a lot with guns, and sometimes these guys start to have that innovation start to happen, start to have those new things start to pop up. And you never know, when you've been in this world and you've worked on a ton of different things, you come up with that one idea that hits, and then all of a sudden, boom, you take it to Smith & Wesson, or boom, you take it to Glock, Keltec, Barrett, any of these people, and you've got an awesome product. And now you've just made a living for you, but you potentially could have provided for your grandkids with something like that. So it's how we get that out there to the population of gunsmiths, to where they can start being those innovators too. You don't, I mean, there's so many designs out there in the world now. It wasn't an engineer that did it. They may have hired an engineer to come up with the actual technical aspects of it, but they just had the idea. It's getting people to have that innovative idea to create cool stuff.
Yeah, and I'd definitely like to be one of those people.
It's just a matter of doing it, man. That's all it is.
I'm actually kind of a lot more motivated now and trying to push forward with getting into it, because I went a couple weekends ago to buy a lower receiver, a gentleman who's in town here, local, who's been an FFL and a home-based FFL for many years. And I was telling him about it, and he was like, well, yeah, right now would be a great time for you to get into it, because there's only 2 gunsmiths left in the area.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
well, and we're back to the other thing we were talking about with the different people that are building AR-15s from a kit and saying, hey, I'm a gunsmith. There's a twofold thing that happens bad with that. One, people get crappy product if they bring in, a Henry lever action 40 or 30-30 or something like that. That guy didn't know how to work out because he's an AR-15 guy. So then people have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to gunsmiths. Another thing that happens is that guy realizes I'm in too deep and he quits. So somebody who may have been a legit gunsmith that wanted to open a shop in the area just didn't do it because the area was saturated. So that's another thing. I think down the road, this one's hard for me because I'm a firm believer in the second and no infringement. But I think there needs to be some sort of accrediting body for gunsmiths because there's not. You can never have taken a course, never built a gun, never even cleaned a gun, and you can put an ad out on Craigslist right now and say, I'm a gunsmith, come to me. Yeah. It's a little scary.
Right. But you can't get a job at a shooting range or a gun store unless you have that. No. But I mean, it's one of those things. Well, there are people out there, like I said a minute ago, there are people out there that have done jobs in the military and civilian contracting that have been around firearms and they have a really good, strong knowledge base. They're passionate about firearms. So they retire, they come out of that world and they start a little gunsmithing business on the side for their buddies and they start doing stuff like that. And they're great, but sometimes people like that may need that certification. That not necessarily they need to come to our course for the certificate, but maybe there's some kind of governing body that comes up that says, okay, $99, we come inspect your place, we see your knowledge base and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm always like this with it. Do I think we need it? No, but yeah, but no, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've been getting a little bit of practice. My father-in-law has a few guns that just kind of sat neglected because he does a lot of traveling, and they sat neglected and collected a lot of dust. And one of them, the extractor just rusted into the slide. So I was able to figure out how to take it apart, clean it all out real well, get it lubed up, and I got the gun back working again. I mean, it wouldn't even go into battery all the way. It was sticking open about that far every time.
Wow.
You would rack the slide and go in battery because the extractor just wasn't moving. It was rusted shut. And then I got another one, a DB9, a Diamondback Firearms, a DB9, where the reset mechanism wasn't working, and now I got a whole new trigger mechanism for it that I got to put in there. So,
nice.
I've been having fun tinkering with it. So, I'd definitely like to get accredited.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, and to cover my legal ass, I have a good attorney, but they're not always watching and doing what I say. But to cover my legal ass, I'm not accrediting you. We are an accredited institution. Right. You are gaining a certification from us.
Right. I'd like to get a certification. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Got it.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely agree with that. ASC certification for auto mechanics firearms are a bit more dangerous. You would think it would be a good thing. Yeah, exactly. I don't think somebody who has a business that is taking a hard-earned individual's money, I don't feel like it would be an infringement if there is some kind of certifying body that's making sure these people are legit, because there are a lot of people that aren't.
It's safety, I mean, in my industry, we have to be certified in a number of things, just for safety reasons. We got to get certified in welding, certified in, all kinds of stuff. Because if we don't perform the work properly on somebody's car, that leads to a whole lot of implications and, legal problems somewhere down the road, or even possibly somebody's death. So,
Well, and I would like to. And this is another gray area, so my lawyer may hear this and go, "What the hell are you saying?" I would love to start an accrediting body myself. Being an institution, I don't know. I mean, this is This is, I may have to step away from. I'm not going to step away from MGS. But anyways, before the ATF decides, okay, we're now going to be this certifying body, and then it becomes a government entity doing it. I think there's an opportunity to do this, circumventing that route, because we all know that may not be the best route to go with it. Somebody said, I dig the FFL class MGS has. There are tons of tax and local regulatory issues that are involved. I agree. Oh, yeah, wrong button. There you go.
Yeah, it jumped up as I went to click on it.
One of the biggest courses that we get rave reviews from our students when they complete is our FFL class. The FFL 123 program is amazing. They go through all those regulatory issues, the legal issues, the tax issues, tax benefits too, because there's that too. So FFL 123 is a good program that we kind of offer within ours that helps you get that FFL, depending on which one you want to get. It'll teach you how to get all the different levels of it. If a person is not certified at one, it could be a person who's doing stuff illegal and black market. True. Related, or he's two, a guy who doesn't have a good education on doing things and wants a quick buck. True again. That's where we're back to a certifying body. Right now, gunsmithing is the Wild West. A lot of people can just say, hey, I'm a gunsmith. You can vet them. You can vet them and say, hey, they've got a MGS certification from us, which is great. They got the certification from another institute, maybe one of the ones I used to work for, maybe a brick and mortar college. But like I said in the beginning, it's up to the individual what you do with that knowledge base. If you go out there with the same knowledge base, you could become a doctor from Harvard Medical School and be the shittiest doctor that's ever walked the face of this earth. It's up to you to do with the knowledge base to make yourself more successful. I cannot tell you that MGS is going to make you a successful gunsmith. I cannot tell you that modern gun school is going to make you the best gunsmith that ever was. But I can tell you we'll give you the knowledge base that you need to become successful. It's up to you after that.
Yeah, the only people that have become successful are the people who work for it and to achieve it and want to achieve it. Exactly. You're not going to become successful. You can go ahead and learn all the stuff you want, but if you don't practice it every day and make sure you're doing it the best you can possibly do it, you're not going to be successful. So you just can't be lazy and expect everything to get handed to you. No,
no, not in the slightest.
The same thing goes in life. You want to be a successful person in life, you got to work at it. Nothing's easy. Just like they say, freedom's not free. Neither is anything else.
Yeah, everything you do, you've got to work hard at it. Whether it is becoming a gunsmith, becoming a mechanic, becoming a motorcycle designer, relationships. You work hard at relationships. There's lots of different things you've got to do in life that you got to work hard at. And I tell my kids daily, if you want something, work for it. Work hard at it. Decided I didn't want to be a doctor because I care too much about the results of my actions. I just feed people internet now.
You can make a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, so I didn't want to cure people and make them better and healthy, and I was worried about the results of those actions. So I'm just gonna feed them internet and hope things go well with the internet, because everything's real on the internet.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can believe everything you see on the internet.
Yes.
Hey man,
except
I saw
for
it on
one
the internet.
thing. One thing that's right on the internet? I saw an ad for those freaking Kit Kat mint dark chocolate duos. Those things are the bomb. That's true.
They are good.
That's
I'll give
real.
you that.
Internet was right on that. Yeah.
I'll give you a break on that one.
Yes, thank you. Please give me a break. Just break me off a piece of the Kit Kat bar. Yeah.
Especially the mint one.
Especially the mint dark. I can't say mint dark chocolate.
I almost thought you were about to say mint Dr. Pepper.
No,
that's Pepper's getting to your head, yeah.
Diet Dr. Pepper, mint chocolate chip Kit Kat. I'm in heaven.
There you go.
I'm also gaining 20 pounds.
But, I know all about the Buddha belly. I got one myself.
Yeah. At Christian Grest, hey, what's up? Oh, I'm reading comments of people to each other now. What's wrong with me?
It gets addictive. I go on podcasts. A lot of time I'll watch Hank Strange quite often. I haven't been able to watch him a whole bunch, but I watch. I've actually been on his show a couple times too. But mostly I go there to interact with people. I don't even really hear what they're talking about half the time because I'm interacting with other people. In podcasts, I'm reading everybody's comments and going through that, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be watching these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, it's cool because you can all get together. It's another nice way for people to get together and share their opinions and joke around with each other and just, talk or whatever too. So, I enjoy podcasts, and I'm pretty new to the whole podcast thing myself, but I decided to give it a shot to see because I enjoy other people's podcasts, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
It's an awesome media platform. I mean, that's how I got my start. I got my start with a podcast. We just shot the shit about guns. Basically, we sat around like we were talking in a cabin, talking about guns. Speaking in comments, okay, Warsaw Patriot, he asked, do I agree, Zeke? But I'm going back to his last comment.
Agree to what, Patriot? Type it up again.
Oh, I can't imagine the people who become Navy SEALs, they work hard for that rep and title. Yeah, I agree with that. Not anything I could have ever done. Being 6'7", as big as I am, I would have tried. I would have at least tried. I couldn't do it. I have a 7'2" wingspan, so doing one pull-up is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's. I mean, first off, did they make pull-up bars that I'm gonna
die? Oh no, they don't. Like when I went to basic training, and it wasn't Navy, it wasn't Army, it was Air National Guard. Anyways, when I went to basic training, like the first time I hung from the bars, I had to pull my knees up because I was like, even I was at a full squat, I was still on the ground. Oh, wow. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, you're a pretty big guy. I've seen several pictures because over the last couple of days, just to help get ready for the podcast, I kind of studied you a little bit, and I'm looking at all these pictures of you with other people, and I'm like, my God, this guy's a monster. Are you as tall as Hickok?
He's got me by 2 inches.
Oh wow!
So he and John are both 6'9". The first time we interviewed him on Talking Lead, he walked into the studio, and I was excited because I wasn't the giant in the room. I was just like, yeah. Yes. Okay, yeah, that's what Warsaw Patriot is. Like David Goggins, I've read his book. It's amazing. If you cannot get motivated after reading David Goggins' book, just quit life in general. That book, I was ready to go freaking run 20 marathons in a row after I read that. I would have died. Would have hurt a lot. But he's a very motivational guy, and his story, like he said, he did 3 hell weeks in buds to become he kept going back. He'd get washed out and he'd have to go back, and it's an impressive story. I mean, you're ready to take on the world after you read that thing. Yeah, medical issues. He used to be way overweight, so he trained to lose all the weight. In fact, I will say this: give David Goggins a shout out. When we filmed the TV show, I was 315 pounds. One of the things I listened to as I was jogging, trying to get my weight down, was David Goggins' book. And he kind of motivated me to drop. I'm down 75 pounds now since we filmed the show. So, Marlon Bo. I just did a 5K run and gun, about killed myself. Run and gun?
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. He put out a video on it. It was pretty cool.
So, like, it's a 5K, but you're having, like, gun competitions in the middle of it?
Yep.
Oh, shit. I am totally into that. Target One TV, send me and just do it, pussies. Yep, I agree.
He's an Army guy. So.
All right, gotcha. So I'm glad I whispered that I was in the Air National Guard then. No, Target One TV, send me, if you wrote down my email earlier, if you didn't, it's Z, the letter Z, STOUT, @blackstone.edu. Send me any information you have on that 5K run and gun deal. I'd like to do that. I don't look like it. I used to do triathlons and marathons, and one of my favorite things were 5Ks. Because because you don't feel like you're about to die after you do the 5Ks. Yeah, so any information, or if you want to post it in here, it looks like I've got some other people that are saying that a 5K alone would kill me, and I'm a skinny dude. It's 3.1 miles. Come on.
He's a Navy guy.
Oh, there you
He
go.
was. I mean, he's not in the Navy anymore, but he was.
Yeah.
Christian's a great guy. He came up here, and we spent probably like 4 hours out in the range last summer. And I tell you, we were just drenching buckets of sweat. It was a very hot, humid day, but we had a great time, man. He brought a bunch of guns. I had a bunch of guns. We just spent the whole day shooting and laughing, man. It was a great day.
So I'm still waiting to see if anybody else says anything. I'm like fascinated by this 5K running gun thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed watching his video.
In ROTC, I ran a 10K running gun, but never knew that was a thing in real life. Sweet. Like, I've been doing all these runs and triathlons and shit, and I didn't even know I could have guns with it too. Damn. Yeah. I've been in the wrong sports. Navy has everything. Yes, it does. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, it does. Yeah.
So what do they have that the other ones don't?
Semen. Sorry, I love my Navy buddies. Sorry. Nothing like brothers and a bunch of guns, even when it's 100 degrees out. Amen. I like it.
Indeed. Yep, indeed. Yep. And it was hot that day. It was super hot. But it was great, man. I'll tell you what, that 300 blackout he brought up with that suppressor on it, that thing was so much fun. So much.
Suppressed 300 blackout is the closest thing. Well, subsonic suppressed is the closest thing I've ever heard. Shoot, I got to keep going back on what to say. 22 subsonic suppressed. Anything above 22, that's the closest thing I've ever heard to like movie type suppressor type stuff.
Yeah, where it's real quiet.
Yeah, it's
like the suppressors in movies, it's because it goes pew, pew. I'm just like, that's not how it sounds.
I shot like a dumbass. I shot a 45 suppressed without ear pro. My ears rang for about an hour and a half. It's not fun. Not just one shot. I mean, I went through a whole magazine, but still, it's still loud. So
I still
movies
have
are
my
not real.
Yeah.
My dad told me, son, you can do anything in the world, and I'll be proud of you as long as you don't join the Navy. All right, so I'm going to tell y'all a story. One of the first events I ever went to working in the firearms industry. All I had was a podcast. Let me clarify, because I had to do this with Discovery Channel because they wanted to like talk about my air guard background. I was like, nope, you're not going to do it because it's going to turn into something way bigger. And next thing you know, I'm dealing with stolen valor. I was not in the spec ops community. I am a giant. I do have a beard. I do have sleeve tattoos. So I went to this event at the NRA convention, and it's me and a bunch of guys, and we're lined up. It's Green Beret, Navy SEAL, me, Delta Force, NFL player, Navy SEAL. And these congressmen are walking by. This is before I knew the whole verbiage and spec ops community, all this stuff. A lot of people have heard this story, so if you have, just laugh like you haven't. But so they're talking to us, and they go, 2 Navy SEALs, and this congressman comes to me. He's like, so what team are you on? I was being honest. I was like, I played a little college basketball at Middle Tennessee State University, and he looks at me, and dude, these guys like fall on the floor, dying laughing. And they're like, dude, he thinks you're a SEAL. What SEAL team were you on? I was like, oh, no. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm not. And it was just, and the guy looked at me like I had just shot his mother. It was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not a SEAL. Sorry. I'm a big guy with tattoos and a beard. I mean, I'm a SEAL. But yeah, those guys, they were awesome, dude. Like, I still see them, and they're like, hey, how was college basketball? You know, stuff like that. It's pretty funny.
You always got a couple laughs to go back on, right?
Yep, exactly.
Oh man. You know, it's good times when you can do stuff like that and just have a good laugh, you know?
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
I like to keep things light as possible. There's too much going on in the world, and there's always been too much going on in the world to just be all wound up in a ball and uptight, man. Just let it out. If you ever watch any of my videos, some of my videos are serious, but when I got started, I got a lot of like silly shenanigans is basically what the mainstay of my channel was in the beginning, and I'm trying to get back into that, but time and money is just something I don't have right now, so I haven't been able to get out there and be goofy here recently, so which I kind of regret it.
Yep. But it's just a matter of, even if you're just doing it with stuff you already have, people like seeing the content. I mean, you're a personable guy. People like you. I mean, we've got how many people watching this? It's like I told, have you ever heard of Hoodneck down in Texas? So he's a guy down there, and black guy, and he's kind of crossing that hood and redneck. He's a gun guy. And so he created, I need to load up some bananas with Tannerite. That sounds awesome. I want to invite. But he created this brand called Hoodneck, and it took off. Because that's a lot of people don't realize is the black community has not been really accepted in our firearms community for a while. It's really gotten better over the last 10 years or so, but it's been kind of like the old white guy thing, which sucks. This is everybody's Second Amendment.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of that was kind of hidden in hush hush, and the old white guy thing was just kind of pushed out there for a particular agenda. Yeah,
exactly. So what he did is he created that brand, but then he was talking about doing a YouTube channel. And I told him, I was like, look, dude, just fucking press record. He said, what do you mean? I was like, go outside, start shooting the stuff, press record. You got a good personality. You can keep, putting it out there, and don't worry about your followers. Don't worry about your views. Just put out what you would like to watch, and it's going to come. You do that, the people will start watching. You do it for you. You do something that's fun to you. Quit worrying about what people on the other side of the camera think. Quit worrying about how many numbers you get and all the analytics, and that stuff will happen. But the biggest thing is nothing's going to happen unless you press fucking record.
Right. And I go out there and I just have a lot of fun, I mean, I did a video, we were taking care of my wife's grandmother, and she passed away, and we still had a plethora of adult diapers. So you could just imagine what came of that. Okay. So, I did my thing.
Sounds like a good time.
I put a bunch of diapers in a row, and I just wanted to see how many diapers it would take to stop certain caliber bullets. I may or may not have been wearing a diaper at some point in the video. But, it's just things like that. I took every holiday, like the major holidays, I always do kind of like a themed video. Like this last Thanksgiving that passed, I cooked a turkey with Tannerite.
Mm-hmm.
I took a frozen turkey, thawed it out, and stuffed a pound of Tannerite up in there and cooked it with 556 degrees.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, so I do stuff like that. Christmas time, I shoot a ham, just like to have fun.
But see, that's the thing. It's fun. It's stuff that people are like, hey, that sounds funny. I'm gonna watch it. And it's quick. It's simple. They're not like sitting down and committing to 10, 15 minutes. It's like
no. My videos. I mean, I think my longest video is probably about 18 minutes, other than my podcast. But
I was gonna say, I say that as I look at live, and it says an hour and 58 minutes.
This I don't really consider a video; it's a podcast. So
somebody says, if this video does not get 1 million views, it will be a travesty. Only once in a while, people come together as humans to discuss issues that really matter. This is the moment.
Yeah.
Share this video.
Share
his channel. Don't just watch it and go, this should get 1 million views. Share it.
Yep, and then it will.
Tell everybody to share it.
Yep.
Take it to your Facebook page.
The more people will see it. Here we go. Here's another one.
No doubt. I do my videos for the fun of it. It's been quite the ride getting to know a bunch of other folks like G&G that are going. Yeah, exactly. with Talking Lead, when we were doing the YouTube stuff a lot more, I'm no longer with it. I gave it my half to Marty. Actually, I have to be legal. I sold my half to Marty because I went into the gunsmithing school world. But when we were doing YouTube, it basically paid for our trips places. We didn't make any money off of it, but it would make enough to pay. But the brotherhood, the people I got to meet, the people I got to hang out with, I got to meet some amazing people. Hung out with freaking Marcus Luttrell for like an hour and a half. I didn't even know it was him. He and I were busting balls of like short guys that walked in the room. And then somebody told me later, hey, that was pretty cool. You got to meet Marcus. I was like, yeah, who's Marcus? And they're like, Marcus Luttrell. And I was like, why do they know that name? And they're like, Lone Survivor. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, but just things like that. You get to meet some amazing people doing stuff like that. And if you're having fun, like Christian Guest said, freaking awesome. Rock it out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you the countless amazing people I've met since I've started with this whole YouTube thing, and otherwise people I probably would have never met if I just didn't decide one day, I'm sick of watching the videos. Let's make a video and see what happens. Yeah. The first video I did, it was probably the dumbest thing ever, but I recorded it. Yeah, of course I had fun. I mean,
then it wasn't dumb.
Who doesn't have fun out there shooting? I mean, I had my cell phone, and I brought my riding lawnmower around because I didn't have nothing to hold up my cell phone, and I propped it up on the riding lawnmower in such a way that it was aiming where I needed it to aim. I called it my redneck camera holder. Yeah. So, and I just recorded it and put it together and put it up on YouTube, and next thing I know, I have like 10 subscribers, and I was like, okay, cool, let's check this out. A couple weeks later, I went out and made another video, and 20, 30 subscribers, and the next thing I know, I'm like, all right, let's make some more videos. And now here I am. I think it's been about 2.5 years, and I mean, I'm not like a massively huge channel, but it's growing, and obviously I'm doing something that people like.
Everybody gets so bogged down by their numbers. Everybody gets so bogged down when it comes to creating content. One, do stuff that you love. Everybody on here that's happy with their channel, I'm sitting here looking at all the comments. They're happy because they're doing the stuff that they love.
Right.
If you got 15 subscribers, who gives a shit? Because if you made a difference in one of those 15 people's lives, you fucking are rocking it out. And that's what matters. What matters is leaving your mark and making a difference in people's lives. I'm not saying you have to have this deep emotional connection in every video you have. If you shoot a freaking pumpkin and it blows up with tannerite and a piece of pumpkin lands on the camera and some guy gets a laugh out of it. It's ironic that I said life. But he was having a shit week, and he needed that fucking laugh. You changed that guy's life.
Oh, I get comments.
So it's stuff like that people get so, I'm only at 100 subscribers, only on 1,000 subscribers. Oh, I've only had 10,000 views. So what? If you affected one person's life with any of those views, you are killing it. I probably shouldn't use killing it when we're talking about affecting people's life.
Yeah, I've had some good comments like that, where people was like, man, I was just having a rough week, and this video made my day because it gave me the laugh I needed. I mean, I enjoy that. I mean, that's my kind of thing, bringing some light to some people, a little bit of happiness, if you go back and especially watch some of my earlier videos, you'll see that, where I'm just goofing around. And I got one video that I made about, choosing the right kind of underwear to wear while you're shooting. So
exactly.
And I got a good friend. He's my partner here on the channel. This is Freddie.
Nice.
Freddie the Finger. Yep, he's Freddie the Finger.
So
my buddy.
I had a nickname for a long time that when I joined your Facebook group, God, whenever it was you started that, it's been a while.
Was about 2 years ago, I think. Yep.
Yeah. I had to squash that one and just stick with the Squatch one that I had. But everybody in my work environment used to always call me the Silverback. because I was the guy that was always sitting back calm, and I'd watch, and I would only pounce if I needed to pounce. So people would call me a silverback. But then I saw that you had that, so I stick with just Squatch, which is kind of more fitting anyways.
Hey, I don't mind if you call yourself silverback. I know I can't be the only one. I got another friend on YouTube here, and he's also a friend on Facebook, and he's called Silverback Reviews. And he's got Silverback. He's like he does his own gun store, online gun store called Silverback Guns. I'm like, cool, man. Us gorillas got to stick together.
He's a good dude too. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, good dude. Joe. Yep. Yeah, he's a real good dude. I like Joe a lot. Yep.
Squatch is more fitting, and I'm going to try to grow my hair out again. So I'm just going to stick with Squatch. And I've used it for all my YouTube stuff, post talking. It's gear Squatch for the motorcycle stuff, pipe Squatch for the pipe stuff. Biz Squatch will be the business stuff. I don't know. Somebody said, "Oh crap, Zeke, didn't know you were a Ford Raptor guy." I have been a Ford Raptor guy since 2009 when they announced them. I have dreamed of having a Ford Raptor. And I finally got a Ford Raptor this year. And it's a 2013. 13 is my lucky number, so that's kind of cool. It's like a desert tan color. They call it Terrain. Love that freaking truck, man. It's like a sports car and a truck body with like a BMW interior. It's freaking badass. Love that thing.
They are pretty cool. Christian actually has one, so...
Yeah.
Does
he? Which one you got? Wait. Christian, are you a Gen 1 or Gen 2 guy? This is going to tell a lot about what kind of guy Christian is. So we'll just see.
He hasn't answered yet.
Yeah, we'll see. It might take a little while. There may be a little lag in the internet.
Yeah, there's usually, I think, a few seconds delay between us talking and what they hear.
And when he responds, too, I'm not going to bash him too bad. Like, I love the sound of the V8 and the 6.2 V8 that they put in those Raptors up until 14. 14 was last year they did it. And he said, LOL, he knew I was going to go there. I'm assuming he's a Gen 2 because he didn't answer. Yeah, my bad. It's 2019. He's Gen 2. I have fun with it. The Gen 2s are badass. Spec to spec stock, the Gen 2s have more torque, more horsepower, and they're speedy as hell. I have a Whipple supercharger on mine. At the crank, I'm pushing about 700 horsepower.
Nice.
So mine compared to a stock Gen 2 is a little closer. And it sounds better. I'm kidding. I love all the Raptors. I love them. But mine sounds better.
That's it. Now he's going to go soup up his wife's just because you said that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Well, I will say this. He saves a lot more money on gas than I do. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I drive a little Nissan Frontier pickup, and I'll tell you what, you probably have better gas mileage than I got.
All right. Okay. Well, you want to do one last question? Or wait, I already gave him that one.
Which one?
So now, Zeke, what's your favorite handgun and caliber? Favorite handgun? Carry handgun favorite is VP9. Yeah, so my favorite carry handgun is the HK VP9, 9mm for the carry caliber. My favorite handgun, just for the fun of it, is the Desert Eagle 50, the Mark 19 one. I love that thing. I love it more, not for the practicality of it, for you go to the range, wait until everybody's kind of dying down, just talking, you just go, boom! Everybody jumps in there. That or the 500 Magnum. Yeah, Smith & Wesson.
First time I shot a Desert Eagle, there was a range over here that was renting, and they had one to rent. So I was like, all right, cool, because my son always talks about the Desert Eagle. He's a big Modern Warfare fan. I don't know if you play video games or whatever, but he always gets the gold Desert Eagle. At him. Yeah, same here. He always gets the gold Desert Eagle. So I took him to the range with me one day, and I was like, come on, we're going to rent the Desert Eagle. And he's 6'4". He's a big kid.
Yeah.
So, when he put that in his hand and held it up, I was like, it fits you perfect because he's got big hands. He's a big guy. So But the first time I shot that gun, because the guy at the counter, he's like, if you never shot this before, just put one round in the magazine, chamber it, and just shoot that one round. Now I'm in the middle bay, and the middle bay was where they let rifles and stuff go. So I took that gun out and I shot it, and there was people with rifles in there, and I shot that gun, and the whole place went quiet, and everybody just kind of leaned back and looked over like, what the hell was that? And immediately I was like, okay, cool. Took the magazine out and I'm loading that sucker up. Like, yes, I gotta shoot some more.
Nice. I think I just answered Keith Gregory's. Yes, I owned a 500 Magnum snub nose for a while. Well, it wasn't really snubby; it was a 3-inch. Ended up selling it. One of the regretted sales. I missed that thing. That was fun. But yeah, I've actually one-handed a 500. I did a full cylinder, one-handed, and my hand hurt for 2 weeks. I will never do that again. Have
you ever seen Kentucky Ballistics?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well, he does that one-handed with the 500. Yeah. He's got a 500, and yeah, he's like, yep, man. He actually shoots that thing really good one-handed. Surprisingly, I mean, with as much kick as that thing has.
If you know the direction the kick's coming, because that's the thing with that revolver, for some reason, let me get in the camera, it kicks kind of out to the side too, one-handed. It's not just a straight up. It's kind of like it's like a boom. If you know it and you're prepared for it, it's not hard to hit shots on target with it. I mean, you're not going to be like boom, 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 boom. No, you got to get back on target, but you just need to know how it's going to go, what the recoil is like on it. And it's a beast. I mean, there's slow-mo videos. I think it's on Talking Lead that we had it, where you see my whole arm just going whoop, 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 whoop. Like it'll shake you up pretty bad.
Right on.
So.
Well, all right. We are past the 2-hour mark, which is cool. You know, I mean,
sweet.
But typically I keep these about 2 hours. So any plugs, anything specific you're doing where people can find you? Or...
Yeah. If they want to find me personally, it's just Zeke _Stout on Instagram, all those. Biggest thing is Modern Gun School. Go check it out. It's mgs.edu. If you know anybody that's looking to get into the trade of gunsmithing, if you help me learn language good than others, if you go to mgs.edu, that's where you can find out more about the school, prices, enrollment. If you want to get into it, do it there. It's a great place to learn the trade and get some more information on it. Also, we have our sister schools, Blackstone Career Institute. If you want to become a paralegal, all the different things like that, we have that there too. And that's just bci.edu. So we've got some great programs out there. You're throwing me off because you're throwing the little high owls, and I'm like reading them, and I'm like, we got some great high owl. Oh crap! Quality live stream. What? Other thing is, everybody share this video. I see a lot of people saying in here that, hey, I hope this video goes viral. I hope a lot of people get it. It's like good information. Truly, right here. This has been great. Thanks, Gigi and Zeke.
Yeah.
Gigi? Wow. You go by the same? Oh, G and G. I get it. Okay. I was going to say, that's what my kids call my mom, Gigi. But they truly great. Share it. Take this when he posted. And there we go. Christian, Gress just shared it. Everybody share this. Get his following up. Get his views up. There was a lot of really, really good information in the beginning of this.
Yeah, and all the way through.
People, be freaking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. If you haven't seen it, you're too young, go watch it. Be freaking excellent to each other. Be excellent to each other. Just be good to each other. That's it. That's all I got.
Right on. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming along. This was a great conversation tonight, man. I mean, this 2 hours went by like it was about 10 minutes because it was very enthralling. I think everybody enjoyed it. It was really interactive. Great time, man. I appreciate you coming on. I got to thank you. You know, a lot of people are busy on Saturday nights. This is the only free night I have to do these. So, but all right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Everybody have fun. All right, Zeke, stay right there. We're getting off the air. All right, everybody, have fun. And we're out.
Awesome.